Hi data lovers, my name is Angie and this is Insight Bites with Dexibit. Today we're talking about capacity as an important part of visitor management to keep visitors safe, and specifically how to calculate those constraints and manage occupancy. Let's back the truck up a little and cover how to calculate capacity in the first place, especially if you need physical distance between your visitors. IAPA's guidelines suggest a ratio of 36 square feet or 4 square meters per person, about a 28 square foot circle per visitor, to maintain a 6-foot distance between individual visitors. You can then adjust this depending on the regulations that apply to your venue and the style of experience that you offer, or the dynamic nature of the environment, such as whether you've got snaking queues or pinch points within your visitor experience. Another big factor to adjust for is the size of a typical visitor party. For example, if your average visitor party is 3.2 people compared to 2.5 visitors, you can then reduce those space allocations to reflect putting space between your visitors' group bubbles rather than individual visitors. Overall, we'd suggest starting on the safe side because you can always test out what this feels like and monitor your visitors' feedback, then increase capacity over the course of a few days or weeks once you're reopening at capacity. There is also the issue of how you measure flow and calculate occupancy for your venue or one or more spaces within it. There are 3 options, and remember, you might have a different way of managing capacity for a space within your venue versus for the venue as a whole. The first option is that you can count footfall, or visitors physically coming in one or more entrances and out again of a particular space. This might be through different entrances versus exits, or it might be using bi-directional monitoring out of a single entrance and exit. It also might be via an automated counter such as an overhead camera, a beam brake, or a laser, or via manual clicks, the old-fashioned way, though you will find that manual counts are more difficult to analyze unless they've been recorded exactly with date time stamps. Otherwise, it'll be really hard to work out how many people were actually in the space at a given time. But this method is going to give you the most control over capacity. As another option, the second method is that you can simply count visitors coming in, again either with those automated or manual counts, but then assume a dwell time of how long those visitors are staying for. This is a less accurate method, though it's still good enough in many respects, but it does mean you'll also need a way of finding out how long those visitors do stay for, such as via Wi-Fi, location analytics, or maybe something like your coach check data, and being able to determine if this varies over time or say by day of the week. The third option is to use ticketing data, either the date the ticket was sold if it is a walk-up, or scheduled if an advance booking, or simply redeemed if you can scan tickets on entry and have that available, which is preferred. With this method, you're also only counting that one-way visitor flow, so you'll need an assumed dwell time again to work out actual occupancy. With those last 2 methods, you could also instead use the equivalent of a capacity constraint of allowing so many entrances or tickets per time window, which works well for something like tour departures. For example, if you've got 50 visitors departing every 15 minutes or so. When it comes to the actual art of capacity management, there's the job of planning capacity and anticipated demand, such as working out how many tickets to offer and how to optimize demand utilization of those tickets. The job of controlling capacity, that stop-go decision made on the front door by the front of house staff, and then the job of reporting and analyzing capacity, working out how capacity was utilized, maybe what can be done to improve it. Essentially, you'll fall into one of 2 modes, either preventing breaches or increasing utilization, until you optimize the 2, where the job becomes more about managing this delicate dance of balance between these 2 options. And that's a wrap on how to calculate capacity and manage it too. If you and your team would benefit from capacity insights to help keep your visitors safe and happy, talk to us about Dexibit's dashboards, forecasts, insights and reports, including for capacity management. And I'll see you next time for another episode of Insight Bites, or check out Dexibit.com for more on visitor management and big data analytics for places people love.